You remember the last time that you've gone to someplace brand new, someplace unique, and you've seen beautiful countryside, and whether it be the wind farms that we see across the channel, or something just absolutely unique that's just something you've not ever seen before, and it's absolutely beautiful. And you see the black and white cows out in the field. And you think, wow. But you know, after a couple hours of driving in that same countryside, the black and white cows become routine. And a couple hours later, you don't want to see any more black and white cows because they've become common. And that's what's happened to us in the computer world and trying to educate. We've become the black and white cow in the countryside. We've become common. But I think most of you, if not all of you, sitting in this room today, and all of you who are engaging in making the internet a more safe place in Wales, I think you're purple cows. I think you're the people that are making the difference.
In the UK now, the internet usage is on the up. Every day, new users online. 29 million users in the UK. More than 55% of those now access the internet from their homes. I don't need to tell you that millions, billions of pounds are spent on the internet every day. But equally, I just need to remind you that millions also get lost or stolen every day.
When we held our first annual summit back in 2005, the cost of e-crime to the Welsh economy, let's just talk about life in Wales for a moment, was estimated to be around £190 million per year, or thereabouts. It's now risen to, we think, around £300 million per year.
And straight off the eCrime Wales website, a quarter of Welsh businesses suffered an e-crime incident in the last year. This is not something that is only happening to others. It'll never happen to me. It's far from our borders. It's happening all around. It's happening right here in Wales, just as it is anywhere else in the world.
Our pre-summit survey for this event indicated that 2/3 of all companies spend less than 1% of their annual budget on preventing e-crime, and not surprisingly, 60% are not sure whether they have adequate measures in place to protect against e-crime.
In the current climate, people don't want to spend money, and people believe they have to spend money to solve the e-crime problem. However, they don't. They just need to be aware. They need to take some basic steps. If they use the e-crime dumbest guide and implement 50% of that, they will be 100% more secure. However, they need to be careful on where they are using usernames and passwords.
It really doesn't matter how small or large a business is, ICT is absolutely vital, and managing it effectively and professionally is the right thing to do at all levels. For businesses maybe that have a friend of a friend or a less professional agreement with regards to their ICT management, there's an awful lot of information that is available to businesses to help them make the right decisions and right choices.
There's no silver bullet. There's not one person to look at, to blame, and there's also not one thing you can do to protect yourself. You have to do multiple things. They're not hard, they're not time-consuming, they're not difficult, but you just need to understand what they are.
Most people who get spam may respond to it. They don't necessarily realise that it is something which is going to cause them harm. And clicking on the link in spam can immediately infect their computer with a Trojan program which will take control of their computer away from them and give it to somebody probably in Ukraine or in Russia.
I think computer forensics is an area that SMEs should be interested in. We're in a global recession, and it's intellectual property and intellectual power that's going to get us out of this recession, and that needs to be protected.
It never ever ceases to amaze me just how much rubbish there is on the internet. All this stuff floating past, just looking for a vulnerable target, trying to compromise, having a go, or, very worryingly, the very, very, very clever, precise and targeted attacks that are extremely clever.
If I have a valid username and password, I can gain access to any of your networks. And I challenge you, any of you after this presentation, if you want to come out, I'll be upstairs, I can gain access to your business or your networks within 2 minutes.
The key thing is, though, a lot of organisations, SMEs or even very large organisations, they don't necessarily realise that they have actually been hacked. So what we have to deal with here is something called incident response. And incident response is all about understanding what happened, how do we help that particular company, how do we investigate it, how do we help them in some cases recover the losses that they potentially have had by instigating litigation, even if we find the end party. So it's essential that firms instruct good forensic investigation firms to find out what happened and help them out, and most importantly, stop it from happening again.
I think the biggest challenge with e-crime in the future is, let me use an analogy in real world. So imagine a high street that has been taken over by a criminal gang and everyone's too scared to use it. No one visits the high street because it's too dangerous. You know, there's a systemic risk that this could happen on the internet. Now, I'm a positive person who believes that we can manage it and that won't happen, but that is the extreme world we could be in, and the internet just is somewhere no one visits because they're too scared of all the dangers. And that's why I think it's very important to educate and help people take responsibility and understand that there are ways to prevent that virtual high street becoming overrun by criminals.
The vision of the project team of eCrime Wales since day one has never changed, and that's about working together to keep you in business, a partnership approach.
The relationship that eCrime Wales seems to have with the police and having dedicated police to report on e-crime is phenomenal, and then the close relationship they have with the community in Wales is fantastic, and it should be replicated globally.
Since I came into post, I can certainly say that there has been an increase in the amount of businesses that have come forward and actually been willing to tell me intelligence relating to e-crime and also to report incidents of e-crime.
I think the e-crime event is a very useful awareness raising tool to allow the Welsh Assembly Government to get out and to talk to SMEs, to raise awareness, to raise issues that simple things that SMEs can do to protect their systems and allow them to function, to create wealth, create knowledge within Wales.
E-crime is as important to North Wales as to Wales, as to UK, as to Europe and the world. To have events like this shows that North Wales is taking it seriously, and let's be honest, I visit a lot of companies every day and they create their competitive advantage by having a differentiator from the competitor, a core competence. That's what the criminals do as well, except their core competence is ripping off those businesses' money. It's ruining the economy, and we need a safer place to work.
So the value in an event like this is the knowledge and the networking and the interactivity that goes with it, because security doesn't have to be something that's all about money, it's about knowledge and understanding, and that's why eCrime Wales serves its good purpose.
eCrime Wales is an excellent organisation. I think it is a standout example of something working where different organisations have come together to really make a difference, to drive education, to drive practical change, to drive policy change, etc., to really make the internet a safe place.
As Welsh people, we're really proud of what the Welsh Assembly Government has done in bringing eCrime Wales ahead of other parts of the UK. It is absolutely necessary, and although other people have said, well, why wasn't it done here first? The answer is because Wales took the initiative. That's worth being proud of.